When people first get into a relationship, they go through something called the honeymoon phase. It's where everything is perfect, y'all never fight, and everything just seems like it's going to be great forever. However, every relationship experiences its challenges. Once you're together for a certain amount of time, fights almost become inevitable, which is going to bring us to the topic of today's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow and I go by The Mengineer. I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. In today's video, I'm going to discuss my top 5 pieces of advice for having an emotionally healthy relationship. This is a partnership, so it's important to handle things in a healthy way. Otherwise, you're setting yourselves up for an unhappy relationship in the future. If this sounds like an interesting topic to you, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. My number 1 piece of advice that I give to anyone who gets into a new relationship is that you have to have good communication. Like I said, those first few months tend to be great. You're not really having any disagreements, everything seems fun and brand new, but after a while that starts to wear off. You start to see each other's different habits and the things that might annoy you a little bit about them. However, whenever you do start to have disagreements or fights or even things that you start to notice annoy you about one another, it's important to have the conversation. One thing to keep in mind here is that a conversation is a two-way street. This is not just an opportunity for you to express your grievances and air out your laundry. This is an opportunity for both sides to listen and tell their part of the story and be heard. If something is bothering you, you need to tell the other person, because as much as we'd like to think that the other person should know what it is that's upsetting you, a lot of times that is not the case. So make sure that you communicate so that way they can actually express their side and potentially rectify the situation. Now, if you've communicated something multiple times and the problem is not resolving itself, then that should be an indication to you that your partner is not listening to you or hearing what you have to say. And usually I would take that as a red flag, as maybe you do not want to continue to have a relationship with this person. Next up, you want to be giving your partner attention. I know this sounds kind of self-explanatory, but something that a lot of couples tend to run into as they move out of that honeymoon phase is they stop giving each other the same amount of attention. And that's kind of a natural thing to do. However, when you are there together in each other's presence and doing something that is supposed to be intentionally for the two of you, you should be present in that moment and giving it your full attention. Let's say you both go out on a date. If you're at the dinner table, you should not be on your phones scrolling through TikTok. You should be off of any electronics and taking that time to really be with one another and talk with each other. Whenever a partner starts doing something like this where they aren't giving their significant other the attention that they deserve or need, then that's when distancing starts happening in a relationship. If you're not giving them the attention that they need in order to feel loved, what makes you think that they're gonna give it to you in return? This is not a one-way street. So make sure that you are giving your partner your attention when you are doing things that are meant for the two of you. But I'm curious to hear from y'all. What are some of the things that you think make a healthy relationship? I'd love to hear from y'all in the comments down below. I like to read and respond to each and every one. Next up, I'm going to talk about intentionality. As you get further and further into your relationship, you need to be intentional to spend time and give your partner attention, like I already mentioned. Life gets hectic, life gets busy. It is really easy to get caught up in that whirlwind and forget to take time for your own relationship. However, if you don't intentionally take the time to nurture your relationship, then that is going to kind of fall off to the wayside. Think of it like a home. You can buy a home, but if you don't do any sort of maintenance on it, then over the years, it's going to fall apart. It's the same with a relationship. If you're not intentional with taking the time to do things that are meant to upkeep the health of your relationship, then the relationship is slowly going to fall apart. One of the things my fiance and I like to do is a life date at the beginning of each month. This is time where we go to a coffee shop or some sort of date and sit down and talk about 3 different areas. It's going to be personal, career, and our relationship. Each person has the opportunity to speak while the other person simply listens. And then once that person is done speaking, their partner can respond with any advice or insight that they might have. We really like this because it gives us a moment to actually be intentional with one another and catch up and say things that we might not have gotten to say otherwise, just because we've gotten caught up in just getting through the day-to-day stuff. So make sure that you're taking time to be intentional with your relationship, and it's going to make it last and be so much healthier and happier. This next one might be a little bit controversial, but in my opinion, it is important that you have some level of independence. You two need to be able to have fun or have hobbies outside of one another. If you're constantly attached at the hip, then you're not really giving yourself any space to be your own person. A lot of times this can result in someone losing the things that really made them them. They lose interest in the hobbies that they're doing, they kind of lose connection with various friends, all because they never really learn to have that independence from their partner. When two partners are too codependent on one another, it can also lead to a lot of stress and anxiety whenever they are away from each other. I've known couples that whenever one person was hanging out with other people, their partner was calling them constantly the whole time. So a time that was meant to be spent with friends ended up actually being a majority of the time spent on the phone, not really hanging out. That's why I think it's important to have some independence from your partner. It's important to have some friends that are just your friends rather than a joint thing, because it allows you to have some space to be away from your partner. Like I said earlier, everything isn't always perfect and rosy. Sometimes you're going to have things that you want to talk about that you don't necessarily want to talk about with your partner. And that's where this independence comes from. So you can talk with your friends and just have an area to vent that you don't necessarily have to worry about upsetting or discouraging or stressing out your partner with something that you know that you just needed some time to vent about. It's important to be your own person. And the final indicator of having a healthy relationship is having some common interests that you can do together. On the opposite side of the extreme of the tip that I just talked about, you have couples who do pretty much everything apart. When you have different jobs, different interests, and different hobbies, then it's kind of hard to have conversations with your partner and for them to be excited and understand what it is that is getting you excited about that particular thing. By having shared interests and shared hobbies, it gives you something to do together, which not only allows you to understand and have good conversations about whatever that is, but it also allows you to bond and grow your relationship through doing that thing together. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do together 100% of the time. For example, my fiance and I both like to work out. However, I like to do more independent weightlifting workouts where my fiance likes to do group classes. So we both like and enjoy our exercise, so we can come together and talk about it even though we're doing different things. Having joint interests allow you to do things that are fun or even things that are learning experiences together, which can really help cement and grow that relationship even further. But that's gonna bring us to the end of today's video, y'all. If you found the information in this video to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, opinions, or ideas on the stuff in this video, please let me know with a comment down below. I like to read and respond to each and every one of them. If you're interested in more videos where I talk about mental and physical health related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about whether or not you should do cardio. If you're interested in more of my most recent videos, be sure to check out this one right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer, signing off.